Right, there we go. First off, what's up, Shaw Nation? Welcome to the I'm Offended podcast. It has been a crazy year. 2021 has been ridiculous for us all. But 2022 is a time of new beginnings and new failures for other people. But today, we'll be talking on today's episode of I'm Offended podcast. We will be talking about the biracial struggles of biracial people in today's age and time. And so I brought a special guest on who is known for calling out people on their racism and has gone through the biracial struggles of life as well as an individual. So I'm gonna go ahead and let you introduce, and then we can go on to the questions.
Okay. Hi. I am Eb_ready on TikTok, better known as Ebony. And yeah, I said it. That's what I do. Also a small business owner. That's it.
Yeah, but you didn't have to say it. All you had to say was who you are. I got to say it. But yes, I have been really trying to figure out what episode or what I was going to put out, and I took some time to think about it, and it hit me. Just having special guests or different people on who have lived and gone through things, and just tell their stories, and we'll just ask questions. If you feel like you kind of don't want to answer, you don't have to. It's not going to be forced. It's very chill and laid back. So yeah, welcome to the I'm Offended podcast.
And
What's
really
up?
quick, if my camera goes off, come back. It just is like that.
Okay, gotcha. So let's see. First off, tell us a little backstory. Where did you necessarily grow up, and how did you enter my life?
So I was born in Alamogordo, New Mexico. Then we moved to Virginia, very small, rural, country bumpkin town, right? I pretty much lived there off and on my whole life, and still in Virginia, unfortunately. Started my TikTok journey a year and a half years ago, and that's where I met you.
Right. Yes, I've loved and I've enjoyed the time that we had when I was down, and just conversation. It's really fun, stuff like I'm just ready to come out and just be like, okay, Ebony, I'm coming. But we can't because it's so long away, but
Yes.
still, I'm making plans.
Don't worry. One of these days.
Yes. So I'm not, well, let's get into some of the questions. So the first question is, as a biracial female, do you think that you get treated a certain way more than men, biracial men?
Absolutely. Now, I'm not saying in all instances, of course, but I think because a lot of times mixed women, little girls, whatever, are ingrained with certain insecurities that most men aren't, just from being women by themselves. And then on top of that, you're accompanying any identity crisis issues, confusion that you do have. Not saying that men don't go through it. I feel as if biracial men are treated differently by society than women, and those same stigmas that are put on women in general. And then on top of that, you're adding, the nuance of.
Yeah, just letting you know, it's very unfiltered, unedited. So first take.
I'm trying not to cuss.
Like I said, it's unedited. So if you feel like you got to put some cussing in there to put some emphasis on what you got to say, then do it. I don't care. It's a new year. I don't care. Right. So I understand everything that you were saying about society and how no sense. But yeah, I understand everything that you were saying about society and how the world sees biracial women. more than they I mean, treat them in a certain way that's like, okay, you know what? Why should I even be here because I'm treated this way? And I mean, there's a certain way with Black people. It's the same way. Why should we even be here if we're being treated a certain way more than a superior race? And when
Mhm.
it comes to play of being amongst other races, biracial, you got blacks, you got Hispanic, indigenous, so many other people. How would y'all fit into that um, category?
Me is a racial like classification.
Yeah. Yeah, the racial classification part of
so so first thing we have to recognize is being Hispanic is it's an ethnicity. So when speaking about racial classifications, mixed race. I don't know why people think this shit. It's not.
it. Mhm.
You are either white or you are black. And it racial classification only. Not how you maneuver in society, not how you um are what am I trying to say? Not how you are how you may identify um yourself.
Yeah,
It's race is it's complex and simple at the same time. It's based off of how does society perceive you. A lot of people think it's just phenotype, but there's also a lot more to go into it when you have people who are racially ambiguous. And if there
right.
is no classification mix, which a lot of people get confused because they see it on forms, they see it on the census,
Exactly.
not knowing that when you put multiracial, you put mixed, once they get somewhere, classifications get spread apart, especially on the census. But it's just basically how society sees you.
Right.
Is it a little muddy water muddies when it comes to racially ambiguous people? Yes. I just know most mixed people cannot. There are some who cannot say that they're white.
Hmm.
So yes.
And I mean, with that spectrum of color, when you hear if somebody was so if I didn't know you at all and I'm
Mhm.
talking to you just like a normal conversation or whatever, and you say you were biracial and I say I don't see color, is that still part of the racism part of me talking to you?
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
Exactly.
Because any non-white demographic, you have to see color, even if
Right.
it is a racial mixture of more than one race.
Mhm.
You have to see it because there's still parts of that are not white. So how can you see half of us and not the whole us?
Right. Because I mean that 50%, and then you probably got 4% of like something else, and then you probably have the other rest remaining of a certain color.
Okay, so we even mixed people say this. I say, like I'm half white, I'm half black. That's not necessarily true. You can have one white parent, you can have a black parent, and still not 50% white and 50% black.
Right.
You can have two white parents and have a percentage of something else in you. So it's the same with us. It's not just because you have a white parent and a parent, you have 50% of this and 50% of that. You can very much have a higher percentage of one or the other in a racial mixture.
Right. And that's like when I
I'm
was scrolling on this TikTok video. Because I mean, this TikTok video, we already know Taylor Cassidy. Not trying
Mhm.
to shade or nothing like that.
Who is
But
that?
she speaks
I don't know
on,
who that is.
okay, well, I say check her out. She's really good and she
Okay.
speaks on like Black Power 100%. But I saw this video today about this guy who was biracial in a music video. Yeah. And she Googled him and he had 1% African American. And she made a kind of a joke that saying she didn't like him mainly because of that 1% African American. But like you said, that 1% or that
Wait,
50%,
hold on. I think I'm lost. So he's biracial.
yeah, he's biracial because he has
She's
like,
black.
yeah, she's black.
And she didn't like him because of the 1% African American he had in him.
Uh-huh. Yep.
And
That's where it kind of lost me at. I'm just like, okay, you know what? How are you for Black Power 100%? But when you got a light-skinned male, but who is still in the necessarily that 1% is still Black though.
okay, so um, I'm gonna take what she was saying. It was supposed to be a joke, right?
Uh,
Or was she serious?
it was a joke, but it kind of threw me off a
Okay.
certain way because I'm just like, okay, what's
So going into like the 1% Black that you were saying.
mhm,
So one thing about me, like I don't subscribe to one drop rule. Okay.
right,
Because in doing so, you're saying that someone whose great great grandfather was Black makes them also Black. And that is not a true statement. Um, so maybe that's where she was going with that. Maybe he's not truly biracial, or maybe he's biracial, but not with predominantly Black and white. You see what I'm saying?
mhm.
There's a lot of people who try to hold on to these very small percentages of being Black, and that's a problem.
Yeah, and it justifies them to say and do what
Mhm.
a Black person does. And
Absolutely. And then you
that's
also have the foundation of mixed people in the process of doing that, of them doing that.
yeah. And that's when they feel like, oh, I'll give you the N-word pass because you have Black in you. And then when somebody of a certain biracial descent says it, then it's like, okay, but you aren't Black. And then when somebody or a girl or a guy does something another way, then they're like, oh, you're Black. So it's kind of confusing either way. You see what I
And but
mean?
you know what? No, I do. But the thing is, while it is complex, we as a society overcomplicate things that really don't need to be.
Hmm.
You know, we live in a world where cultural appropriation is evident, right? And you have a certain demographic of non-Black people who want to justify cultural appropriation by holding on to these small percentages of Blackness, or the entitlement that they feel that they should be able to share everyone's culture,
Right.
and not realizing in doing that they are still perpetuating white supremacy. They are still, Black people didn't blur the color lines, white people did. So it causes people within the Black community to do the same, because that's what we've always known. That's something that we also have to unlearn amongst each other, but we can't, as long as we infight and we fight them.
Right.
So it's really not complex. It is complex, but we overcomplicate it, if that makes sense.
And that's what people don't understand. It's like some stuff does not have to be as complex as it is, but because of past ways and racism, then you got so much other stuff going on. It's just, you know, we just can't not over complicate things.
Absolutely. But we do it,
Yep.
especially in America.
Hmm. Another question that I had for you was, I know it's especially hard as a mother who has children. How does, you know, that that motherly part, when people talk about your kids and, certain things like that. I'm not trying to, kind of, I can't really.
You mean in regards to race?
Yeah. So, because you're biracial and
Nobody
then your
says anything
kids
about
end
my
up being
kids.
biracial.
Yeah.
So,
No, my kids are Black. My kids are Black. I think that's where the difference lies. But I've had people ask me before, how is it raising biracial children? You're asking the wrong question. You should ask me how it is to be a biracial woman,
right,
because my kids aren't Black. They have a biracial mother. They have a percentage of whiteness in them, yes, but my children are Black. They don't have, never have they ever had a white experience. They can't maneuver in life as a white person. None of that. My kids are Black.
right. I don't know if you need to make a shirt or something because, you know, if I was just a regular person and I saw your kids, I'd be like, okay, look at those lovely, mixed children and stuff like that. But you said they're black. So I'm going to give them their props and, say they're black because that's what they are. I'm not going to sit here and try to think of ways of like,
See,
okay, how
also,
does she have, what's up?
well, let me mention this also.
Go ahead.
That plays into you seeing my children. My children don't look mixed, and I'm doing air quotes. They don't look
Right.
mixed. They look light skinned. So here's the thing: how many light skinned black people do we look at who have two black parents, four black grandparents, and consider them mixed because they're light skinned? That's another white supremacist ideology that we have all adapted to,
Right.
assuming that yes, their mother is biracial, but there are people who are lighter than my children who people consider mixed when they have two black parents and four black grandparents.
Right. And that kind of reminded me of that one TikTok video that I have posted, I think a while ago, I think it was July or so, about a Mexican woman who got beat up by a white male. And I made a video about it, and a lady decided to make things what they didn't have to be. And when I looked at the profile, her daughter
Right.
was black, remember? And she said she could do what she
Mm-hmm.
wanted because she has a black daughter.
Child. I have a whole series that I just started today, as a matter of fact, called Dear White Mothers. And this really goes not just to white people, but it also goes to non-white people who have children with black um, significant others. Your black children and your black partner don't give you a pass for any part of blackness. Your indigenous partner or your indigenous children don't give you a pass into anything. Same with her, because her ethnicity, she was Mexican and she has a black child. That does not give her a pass into anything blackness.
Yeah.
And I think that's where a lot of people who are in relationships with black people get it mixed up at.
Mhm. Because I'm like, everywhere I go, it seems like there's got to be either a white male with a black woman or a black woman with a white male or a black male with a white girl. And I'm just like, I understand, but what's wrong with the race in itself? And so that leads to my next question. Do you think if I wanted to date somebody and they were biracial and I treated them a certain way, how so put that in your shoes. Like if you were looking for somebody and but they didn't want to date you because you're biracial.
Fuck them. Shit. That's that. The thing is, people put too much emphasis on they don't like me because I'm this. Fuck them
Mhm.
and what they think, what their opinion is. Tell them to go on and date whoever the fuck they want to. It ain't got to be me.
Right. That's why I'm not dating now. It was so funny because
Literally.
my cousin, I was talking to her, and then my younger cousin comes in, and she's like, did you find a man or a woman yet?" No. She's like, "You looking?" No. I said, "You worry about your
Society
own."
has us thinking that we have to,
Mm-hmm. Right.
but we don't. That's a societal standard. That's a standard that society put on us.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That sucks. Can nobody say hello? Oh, okay. Thank you. Let me see. There was a question. Well, I missed y'all question, so it's kind of suckish. Okay. Do I even have any more questions? Because I mean, at this point, this is totally scripted.
Look, some just go for it. Anything comes to your head.
Right. Because I mean, I'm like I said, I'm not editing this, and this is going to be raw, unedited content, unfiltered.
Oh wow.
The love's coming off this year. Y'all see way too much of sweet, sensitive, emotional Sean. It's like, okay, you know what? It's time to tap in and be an adult. Hi,
I
Crystal.
absolutely.
What'd you say?
I said I absolutely understand that. Absolutely.
Yeah. And I mean, just like, okay, there we go. Got it. How do you feel this year would go for how it's going to go for you? Because I mean, it just started. We are 3 days in. How do you feel like this year is going to go for you?
Just in general,
Yeah, in general, yeah, in general.
I feel that this year, I'm going to be honest with you, I don't know. The only thing that I know that I can do is try to change my thought process, the
Yep.
things I speak over my life, like things. The only thing I can do is change me
Mhm.
and hope that these changes bring forth positive change that I have not seen in previous years.
Right.
Just praying we don't have a recap of last year or the year before.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I got way too much going on for something else to go down. Be like, oh, we stuck.
It's definitely been, I think everybody's had a rough couple of years, but these past quarantine years have been worse.
Yes. Financially, emotionally,
That's right.
physically, mentally.
Yes,
But I mean,
absolutely.
that's why I necessarily don't say this year is going to be my year. I don't say that anymore, mainly because of, oh, thank you, Yolanda. Mainly because of just the thinking process through the past 2 years, thought process, and, physically having to get up and do something, but you're stuck in the house.
Hmm.
So it's just like, that's why I don't say this year's my year anymore. I just play by ear pretty much.
Exactly. Exactly. That's all we can do, honestly.
Yes. Because I mean, we never know. Some real good may happen one day, and then next day, all hell breaks loose.
Exactly. I think just preparing ourselves emotionally and mentally to not allow those bad moments to consume us is very important.
Right. And then this is not necessarily a wrap up, but
Yeah.
um, let's see. What's one, well, I don't care if it's one, two, three, or five, but what are some things that you would say to the viewers, or not necessarily viewers, but listeners, I mean, just to get them through the year in general?
Mm. This is something actually somebody sent me the other day. Um, I have a hard time letting go of things and forgiving and whatnot, right? So this one post simply said, let them. Let them, meaning let everybody else do what they're going to do. Just let them. I think we spend so much time worrying about everybody else that we often, even when we think we are, we're not spending enough time thinking about ourselves. The people who hurt us or who got the new promotion or who's doing better than us. And we just have to let them. I don't know. I thought that was kind of deep.
It is, because I mean, just like we're talking about for like a nice 25 minutes, these 2 years have been ridiculous. And I
Yeah.
mean, just with people and not having enough money, financially
Mhm.
unstable, and people getting evicted out of their homes and
Yep.
fires and all this other stuff. It's just real shocking to see how people still have grown and learned and lived with all that going on, even just secretly without saying anything.
Absolutely.
And even dealing with people, just that alone right there, you saying let them, that was kind of like an opener of like, okay, this year, whatever person is trying to
Hmm.
let go of me for my good, then I need to.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yep.
It's hard to do though sometimes, but we got to do it, you know?
Hmm. I don't care about to do that one person like just eats a burrito out of nowhere.
Okay, well, that's fine because I got some Cheetos I wanted to eat, but I didn't want to be chomping in your ear.
Ooh,
I'm hungry.
yeah. How's the weather?
We're snowed in.
If I would, I want to
I was so excited about the snow too because we haven't had a good snow in a long time.
go.
I was excited.
Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and enjoy the rest of my burrito, but thank you guys
Of
for
course. Thank you for having me on.
this deep conversation, and thank you all listeners for listening in. Next episode, I will be talking about something that is kind to my heart, feelings and emotions.
Ooh, that sounds
Right.
exciting.
Yes. But if you want to watch any other episode, not watch, but listen to any other episode, you guys can on Spotify or Apple Podcast or Google Podcast app or wherever you feel. I will also be posting the audio on YouTube on my channel for you guys to listen to. Just subscribe at Shine Nation or follow my TikTok, Shine Nation. It's pretty much the same thing. Yeah, I'm gonna see y'all in the next episode.
Bye.